rank, put your hands up. If you're feeling what I'm feeling, put your hands up. Now here comes the bass, put your hands up. Go!
Let his dream come true! He promised a nine darter! He stood and he delivered! Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the beautiful arena here in Leeds. The first direct arena is the home of the Betway Premier League, brought to you by the Professional Darts Corporation. We are live on Sky Sports, and now it's time to meet the players. It's time to welcome back the former World Youth Champion, the Bully Boy, Michael Smith. Open champion, the former European champion, the back-to-back two-time champion of the world, Gaffer Adrian Leuk.
Record in the Premier League. By his standards, it is poor, very, very poor.
Yeah, like you said, by his standards, he's a twice world champ, UK Open, European champion, and he's only ever qualified twice. He's failed 6 times to make it through to the playoff, and for someone that is so good, that really is a poor return. Hopefully he can put it right this year, but he's often said he's lacked a lot of urgency come the Premier League season, because you can lose one week and then think, I'll put it right next. And when it doesn't happen, you get into that mentality of there's always next week, always next week. But for me, this match really is about Michael Smith. If he can just relax and just think, right, look, what an opportunity. I'm playing in the Premier League, I'm 25 years of age, I've got the darting world at my feet, and this is an opportunity for him now to stamp his authority and take away any nagging doubts he will have about himself right now.
He's only 6 years younger than Adrian Lewis. Adrian Lewis has been around for a long, long time, hasn't he?
Yeah, Adrian Lewis has been good for that long. We're talking over a decade. I'm looking for a real quick game from Michael Smith. Just something to relax him and get into his flow.
Talking you through this one, John Parr and Rod Studd.
Thanks, Dave. Evening again.
80.
Adrian Lewis turned up here expecting to play. World champ Gary Anderson, repeat of that memorable final, Alexandra Palace, just last month.
60.
Instead, he's up against Michael Smith, battered and bruised after his toweling by Peter Wright in the first game. Smith having to play twice in his very first
83.
night in the Premier League, his debut night. Can he get important points here against Lewis. A man, incidentally, he beat twice at the recent Grand Slam of darts, both in the group phase and the knockout phase. So that might just give him that little injection of confidence he needs, John.
Well, it gives him the knowledge that he's capable, but I think he has that in any case. He has that sort of game. He could beat anybody if he gets going.
58, Adrian Uruguay, 158.
He has to play the player, though, not the event. Right now, he's in front of this massive audience, and it didn't go well earlier, and he wants redemption. He might be thinking about that more than just doing it.
91, Adrian Uruguay,
Well, this has been a very comfortable opening leg for jackpot Adrian Lewis. Double four. It's all over in 15 darts with the minimum of fuss, and Adrian Lewis could not have had a more comfortable introduction to the Premier League in 2016. As Dave Clark was saying, he has a woeful Premier League record, just qualifying twice in 8 attempts, and has not reached the finals night, the semi-finals, since 2011. A mystifying record, really, John, given the fact he's won 2 World Championships.
Well, it's a whole different thing. It lasts a third of a year, and it's week after week. And as Wayne was mentioning, you always think, well, I can put it right next week. A little bit of procrastination in performance, and you're done.
140.
He reached the final in 2011. That was when he lost to Gary Anderson. He put Phil Taylor out in the semis.
121.
And Lewis now up to world number 3, above mentor Phil Taylor in the world rankings for the first time. Taylor having dropped down to 4th.
Yeah, and he's looking good so far, and he's likely to be ahead of him in the Premier League table too. If he keeps this up, looking good for a break here of throw.
Phil Taylor beaten this evening by Raymond van Barneveld. A very strange evening's Arrows action here in Leeds. Smith in danger of going 2-zip behind. Treble 14 or Bull. Went treble 14.
54.
Now we've got the champagne shot here. 2 bullseyes for 32.
Except there's 2 corks with this one. Not on this occasion.
78. Adrian Uruguay, 48.
It's all gone a bit flat. Tops for 2-0 to jackpot.
8 score.
Right.
Uruguay, 54.
This is what happened in the Grand Slam game. The knockout phase. Smith won 16-11. Lewis could not buy a double. 1-1.
Michael Smith.
This is what happened, John, in that game. Adrian Lewis kept missing darts at double, and Michael Smith kept swooping.
134.
Well, yeah, he's quite fortunate that he got the opportunity to hold his throw, and now he can really punish.
64.
It looked like he was going to keep pace easily, maybe even hit the 180 with that first dart, but then 2 into the 1s, and suddenly it's Adrian feeling pretty good about things. Not touching the board, so only 120.
Yeah, not count it.
He was trying to sell a referee on that, and it was actually 25 or 50.
134.
Adrian Lewis, a big 180 hitter, but never, well, not since 2012 has he topped the 180 stats in the Premier League.
139.
He was the leader of the maximum men that year. Last year he hit 51 when Gary Anderson topped the pile with 70.
100. Uruguay, 164.
164 for the bully boy.
Yeah, and he doesn't really need to take it. Lewis is starting to feel under pressure here, and that 103 might be awkward, but he needed more than 40 to pressure the shot. Treble 17 for double 16. Oh, they're both getting a little twitchy.
43.
Kind of a turning point leg, you feel, at this early stage. It's a bull he needs.
99.
This occasion just on the
Adrian
wire.
60.
He didn't want to pitch that in a position where he couldn't see the whole target, which was he did do, and now he's looking at double 10.
40.
First dart in the single 20, because of the way Lewis's darts stand up, caused a problem, and it's given Michael Smith a chance at double 10. Lewis missed, and so has Smith.
17. Adrian Uruguay 20.
His own chance at double 10.
Gets on the third
Gets
leg.
that one.
Adrian Lewis. Fourth leg is Michael to throw first. Game on.
Almost a bit of favor returned on the let off on the throw. Adrian should have broke Michael Smith 2 legs ago, and it's
435.
fair to say Michael Smith should have broke him there.
Well, if Michael Smith were to lose
100.
this game, there's going to be a lot of pointless players when we reconvene in Newcastle a week tonight. Smith plays Thornton. He got whitewashed tonight.
100.
Anderson plays Van Gerwen. Gary Anderson not playing tonight. Michael Van Gerwen beaten unexpectedly. So there'll be 2 matches with
140.
both protagonists without a point if Smith loses this match.
And we're constantly harping on you need a good start in the Premier League, and well, you have to conversely avoid a bad start, and as you're noting there, it's going to be some really key matches next week.
Michael Uruguay 167.
60 on the floor for Jackpot, which could make a big difference actually in this leg. Had he been on 81, there's a very different kettle of fish from 141.
Well, even 20 to get to 121, much easier than 141.
Very much so, John.
65. Michael Uruguay 110.
Oh, that's hurts. 5 takes him off the finish.
70.
Sets it up
76.
at 76. Such a good out, especially with a fantastic first start like that.
Games on the fourth
And it
leg.
only takes him 2. And there is our first break of the match.
Game on.
Yes, clear daylight now between the 2 players. Adrian Lewis has a 2-leg cushion.
60.
He's done some tungsten tinkering since the World Championship. Jackpot. Always amazes me, John, that so many players from seemingly really good tournament performances seek to tinker.
177.
Whatever he's done, it's certainly served him okay on that visit. You think that, you know, it would be satisfactory to get to a World Championship final, would it not?
81.
Yeah, I don't get it myself. I always believe in trying to stick with something, and the muscle memory factor, you makes sense that the more you use a certain thing, that, well, if you're not thinking, then your body would much prefer what it's used to.
58. Adrian Uruguay 164.
Oh, great. Follows that, and he'll get a chance for a ball if he wants it. He wanted it, just didn't get it.
We saw a 167 out from Michael Van Gerwen earlier tonight. That helped him establish a 3-0 lead in a match that he ultimately lost 7-4 to James Wade. Lewis choices, double 8.
Game shot on the fifth leg. Adrian Lewis. 6 leg is Michael to throw first. Game on.
There's 2 reasons I think Adrian went for that outshot. Is one, to please the massive crowd here. Who wouldn't want to, when you get that many people watching, to get them on your side? But also I think the bully boy a little bit. You know, when he's down, he's just been broken. You really want to smash in the big scores and the high finish if you can. Demoralize the man, the opponent.
Well, I think to be fair, Michael Smith is really suffering up there now. He's coming off the back of a defeat where he averaged 86 against Peter Wright. He's averaging under 80 in this game. It's been a really torrid introduction to the Premier League here for the man from St Helens.
99.
He'll come back and do it all. This is the problem, isn't it? You have to come back. It can be a good thing. If you right the wrongs very quickly, you can get the chance a week's time. But if you keep losing, it becomes so demoralising very quickly.
Well, and as he's played 2 matches tonight, 1 week you won't even have a chance to make up ground.
Yes.
He'll have a week off.
59.
really is the school of hard knocks, the Premier League darts, unforgiving, unrelenting. It has really destroyed a few players over the years as they struggle to get used to playing in front of these incredible crowds, the like of which they've never seen before.
100.
Well, and I don't know if it's even the crowds. I think we love the crowds. It's just that standard week after week after week. It's relentless, even if you're that standard yourself. Somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose.
118.
Tops then for Adrian Lewis for a 118, and that would have made it 5-1.
167.
Still probably will be 5-1.
He's looking more like a spectator watching his darts than he's actually throwing them where he wants them.
Game shot on the 6th leg, Adrian Lewis.
It's Adrian Lewis with the conviction of his throw,
Game on.
putting the darts where he wants them.
His second maximum. The perfect start to leg 7.
45.
Well, looking all over now that it'll be 6-1 here to Lewis. Has he got something even more special up his sleeve? The jackpot.
140.
Well, that was an excellent effort at it. Can't fault them.
134.
Well, this is a real bludgeoning.
How significant could this be
97.
for an Adrian Lewis's campaign, that instead of maybe perhaps losing once again to the world champ Gary Anderson, starting off with a loss, and now he's got
81.
the new player,
84.
and he's having a very good night, and it could make all the difference to Adrian Lewis's year
Shot on the 7th leg,
as he gets his
Adrian
first
Lewis.
point.
Yeah, he plays Michael to throw first. Game on.
And Lewis up against the flying Dave Chisnell. And next week, Chisnell having whitewashed Robert Thornton,
93.
who wasn't even afforded a shot at double until very late in the piece.
It might just turn out that
137.
Gary Anderson's illness is the best thing that ever could have happened to Adrian Lewis in his campaign in the Premier League this year. Not to say he couldn't beat him, I'm not saying that, but
134.
just
You're saying he was more likely to beat Michael Smith and Gary Anderson.
as it's turning out, it looks that way.
100.
Lewis has taken full advantage of Smith's out of sorts off-colour performance.
Well, yeah, I mean, with Lewis with his 98 average here, I don't think that would put him 6-1 up against the healthy Gary Anderson.
As he takes his average very close to 3 figures and above, with his third maximum to leave 84 for game, set and match.
94. You require 84.
So to complete a 7-1 drubbing, he wants double 11, and that is that. Adrian Lewis cleans up clinically against Michael Smith, who's had a very, very tough baptism in Premier League darts. No sympathy from Jackpot though. Lewis waltzes home by 7 legs to 1.
54% on the doubles, 3 180s, 100.033 average. Adrian Lewis in decent form. 2 defeats for Michael Smith. The virus. Gary Anderson missing the night. So Smith stepped in to play Adrian Lewis. Kicked off the night with a 7-2 defeat to Peter Snake by Wright. 99.16 average, 5 180s from Wright. Michael Van Gerwen beaten by James Wade, who took out 121 and 116 in a 7-4 victory. Phil Taylor beaten by Barney, 103.6 average from the great Dutchman. Robert Thornton whitewashed by Dave Chisnell, and Adrian Lewis a 7-1 victory over Michael Smith. Early days for Chisnell, Lewis, Barney, Wright and Wade, all on 2 points. Let's hear from Adrian Lewis now, talking to Stuart Pike.
Well done. I guess you didn't expect it to be that easy.
No, I didn't. No, I mean, obviously the crowd play a massive part tonight, so just like to say fair play to them. But for Mark, it's a massive learning curve for him. He's number 8 in the world for a reason, because he is that good. Tonight, obviously against me, he didn't really show that much. Next week, hopefully he can put things right, because I think a lot of him is a great lad, and as long as he doesn't affect his confidence after the 2 beatings tonight, he can get up there.
You had to be clinical though, didn't you?
Pardon?
You had to be clinical.
I did do, yeah, in the end. Yeah, my finishing was fantastic. My scoring was a bit hit and miss early doors. I put that right last 3 or 4 legs of the match. But I'm looking forward to this year. I mean, the last couple of years, well, to be honest, halfway through the Premier League, I've had more points on my driving licence, if I'm honest.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, this is one of the things that annoys you the most, the fact that your record in the Premier League is so poor. You're due, aren't you?
It is, because I think with it being beginning of the year, I always try new darts, new shafts, just try and improve that extra 10-15%. And I've used tonight the darts what to use against Kim Ibrex in the Masters, where I've had like an extra 4 days of them, and I feel comfortable with them, and I'm going to keep with them.
It's about time that you made your mark in this competition.
It certainly is. It's about time we try to do something to Van Gerwen. I think he's a man at the minute where he's winning week in, week out. As an Englishman, and a proud Englishman, I think we've got to try to ruffle his feathers a bit.
That wasn't bad for starters. Well done.
Nice one. Cheers, Stu. Thank you. Cheers.
Well done, Adrian Lewis. 7-1 victory over Michael Smith. It's been a strange night, John. Lots of one-sided matches.
Well, yeah, we're used to getting these nervy ones down to the wire. And I thought the last one was good because Adrian let off Michael the second leg. And Michael was allowed to hold on to his throw. And then Michael returned the favor straight back away. And then Adrian never looked back. He just beat him up after that. So, we had a lot of domination in one-sided matches. And it does damage to the psyche of the players that were heavily beat. They're going to have a hard time coming in next week.
Can Michael Smith pick himself up from 2 defeats? It's a big ask for him.
It is a big ask, he can, yeah, but there's something on his side. Next week, he's got to play Robert Thornton, someone else who is clearly struggling. And Dave Chisnall alluded to the fact that Robert isn't playing well. If Michael Smith can get into his head, right, he's not playing well, I've got to win that game, or definitely not lose that game. Got to take a point out of that. Otherwise, playing 3 games in 2 weeks, being pointless, that could really kibosh his league before he starts.
And conversely, you got to say whoever loses that match is looking in very, very bad shape mentally, like confidence-wise. What can they do after that?
Elimination after 9 weeks makes it interesting, doesn't it?
Well, I was having a look at what you need to kind of escape. There were 4 players last year that escaped elimination, and they all lost 5 games out of that 9, that block of 9. So you can lose again, you can lose 5 times, and seemingly is that you've got no confidence. Where do those points come from? Where do those wins come from? It takes some kind of sportsman and some kind of brave individual to stand up there and be counted, a bit like Barney last year, and get away with it. I'm not sure Michael Smith or Robert Thornton are playing that well and are that mentally strong to get over, like John said, a loss next week for either of those. It could be over before it's begun.
Precious so early in the Premier League. Who'd have thought it?
Oh, listen, I do. I did it. And Wayne's been, you need a good start. You're so desperate for a good start, and that's why it's so hard to make up ground once you're behind.
Unpredictable night. Taylor losing. Van Gerwen losing as well.
Yeah, that was a surprise because he'd been playing so well, Michael Van Gerwen, and James Wade hadn't. At 3-0 up, averaging 102, playing delightful. Turns it round, James Wade, like seemingly only James Wade can. But Phil didn't play particularly well, whereas Barney did. Adrian Lewis was superb. For me, the performance of the night has to be 7-0 for against Robert Thornton, Dave Chisnall. Finishing was great. He scored well, finished well, looked really accomplished.
Michael Van Gerwen stormed into a